Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Nice to have everyone here with us. Welcome to the Monday message. I want to make sure that everybody can hear me okay. And if not, just let me know and I can make an adjustment here. But we're going to review the numbers from the previous week. And then we're going to talk about a very important topic. And that topic is, of course, prioritizing our work. What kinds of things are important to do and how is it important to get them done? We're going to talk about the ABCDE method of writing a list of priorities. And so we'll minutes, but in the meantime, what we're going to do first is review the week that was. So we'll have Chandler bring up the numbers for us from last week. Look at these numbers are impressive. Let's start at the bottom. Allison, 1,066. Gracie, 1171. Mallory, 1207. Irma, 1213. Lashandra, 1321. Brandon, 1540. Jude, 1707. Lisa, 1996. David, 1996. David Fleming, 2090. Dan H, 2323. Rogers and Kim Strotter, 2714. Kyra, 2733. Ryan, 2836. Matt, 2920. Sarah, 2962. Kyle, 3325. Danny, 3657. David, 3789. Mike Guerra, 4311. Tom, 4700. And Aaron, 4747. Those are impressive numbers, everybody. What a great week that was. Fantastic job. Here's our top 5 weekly submitted. I have myself at 4,900. Mimi Romero, 5273. Mercedes, 5368. Jeanette, 5629. And Jeremico Edwards coming in with a whopping 7330 for 8 applications. Great numbers, guys. Those are great things to aspire to. We look forward to hearing about how you've done those things when we perhaps attend family reunion, get a chance to talk to these individuals, learn from them, figure out what they did and how we can imitate their success. Here are our top 5 weekly paychecks. Michael, $53.99. Jeremico, $58.31. Mercedes, $10,033. Mark, $13,922. And then Nicholas, $28,339.32. Top 5 weekly paychecks. Let's now move on to top 5 year-to-date producers. Number 5 is Mark at 116,697. David at 125,427. Jeremico Edwards, $140,146. Nicholas at 153,479. And then myself at $224,874 year-to-date production. So, but top 5 year-to-date numbers, everybody. That's very encouraging numbers to see, isn't it? Now, here's our Freedom Leaderboard. Fast Track, I have myself as 1, Nader at 2, and Davies Base Shop at 7, as well as 2 contracted at the Davies Base Shop. So family reunion, folks, is coming up. It'll be here before you know it, August 2 through 4. Really, guys, I encourage you, please make sure you are there. I can't emphasize that enough. I have found every time I attend an event, my growth accelerates by several months. But if I don't go, I don't get a chance to learn these things. You see, so how important it is that we attend, because we don't know sometimes what we don't know. And we hear something that we can take home and implement immediately, and it makes us money. It makes our business that more successful. It helps us find others who want to make a successful business. But we cannot learn these things if we don't attend. So please go to allianceevents.com, get your ticket. If you need a ticket, ask around. Maybe there are others who have one that's available. They're hard to part with. I had to beg last week to get a couple. I've got 6 agents attending family reunion, and it was hard to find tickets. These events they get sold out. So please do your work, get the tickets, get to the event, and you'll be very happy that you did. That is a guarantee. So what we're going to talk today is something that Brian Tracy talks about quite a bit. He wrote a book back in 2001, in fact, that talked about the ABCDE method for time management. And really what that is, it is a to-do list on steroids. To-do lists become very important to us because if we're not careful, we can get overloaded, or we can feel overloaded with work because the things that need to be done pile up because we're not getting them done. We're forgetting sometimes what needs to be done, and we remember doing the tasks that come to mind. We do those, but then the other things that sometimes are even more urgent get put off. And we never want that to happen to ourselves because then we kind of get into a paralysis, right? We want to be productive. Keeping something that's well thought out, a structured to-do list is very important, but it's not just as easy as writing a to-do list. And the reason why is because a to-do list doesn't usually tell you how important each of your tasks is. We can check a lot of things off on our to-do list, but were those items that we checked off really important, or were there other items in the list that were more important that we didn't do? See, so having a to-do list itself isn't, the answer. A prioritized list is very important. We can make sure then we get the things done that are urgent, and the things that are lower priority items, well, we can just ignore them altogether. Sometimes they're not even really necessary. They can just be set aside and be done maybe when we're not as busy. So it's important for us to have a well thought out, structured to-do list. And that's where the ABCDE method really comes into play, folks. That's what will help us to make sure we're productive. And so it's a pretty simple priority setting technique. Like I said, it was invented by Brian Tracy. He wrote a book about it back in, I think it was like 2001. It's fairly simple. It doesn't require any special training, but it's highly effective. All we need to understand is the importance of each task. Each task will have a letter assigned based on how important that task is. It's like an ABC list is like a to-do list on steroids, is how Brian Tracy describes it. And it's action-oriented. It's simple and action-oriented. The focus, the point of the list is to focus your energy on the things that are important, things that will add money to your bottom line, things that will make sure you're taking care of your clients and their needs. And then once you start using this list on a regular basis, you're going to find that you're going to feel less and less overwhelmed. But what's important, folks, is willpower. It's one thing to create a list, but we have to have willpower. Many people think, well, I don't have a lot of willpower. And maybe at that point in their life, maybe they don't. Maybe willpower isn't one of their strengths. But willpower is something that we learn. It's not necessarily something we're born with. It's something that probably has been taught to us by our parents, by our mates. It's maybe something we've come to develop as adults, but maybe our willpower isn't as strong as it needs to be. It can be strengthened. It's a muscle that gets stronger with use. And so it's good for us to have the list, but we also need to strengthen our willpower through training. The more thought you put into setting your priorities before you begin working on tasks, the faster you're going to start getting tasks done. And the more valuable and critical a task is to you, then the more motivated you are to overcome procrastination and get things done. So this is how we use the ABCDE method, okay? It's a priority setting technique based on just a regular to-do list. The answer is that this list works for everyone. So if you've got an employee, I have a couple of employees myself, and I encourage them to do the same thing. This list isn't just for you, the agency owner, or you, the agent. This list works for everyone. And you can even teach it to your children. And that'll be a great thing to teach them at a young age. The people all around you are going to see that you're more focused. They're going to see how productive you are. They're going to see like your weekly numbers and how many apps you submit, and you're going to see, hey, these folks are just as busy as I am. That person is also a parent of 2 little kids. Look how much they're able to get done. Or this person here is my age and has health challenges and the like, and look how much he's able to get done. You see, you're going to be seen then by others as a good example that they'll want to imitate. They'll benefit from the good example that you set. And then as you get these things done, these items, these important items checked off your list, you're going to appear better organized, more reliable, and people are going to want to turn to you then for help when they need that kind of guidance, and they want to find out what the key is to your success. So as you can imagine, guys, an A task is the most important task. Okay, that's your highest priority task. The A tasks are the jobs that you've got to get done. They're too important to ignore. And if you ignore them, there are serious consequences. And at the same time, they're likely to have the biggest upside to you personally if you get them accomplished. Let me give you an example of what an A task would be. Making your dials. See, sometimes as agents, we think to ourselves, well, I'm buying $500 a week in leads. That's great. It's good that we've invested in ourselves. That's important. But wouldn't you agree, what is more important than buying leads? Following the leads. Buying the leads does not translate into money in your pocket, into clients that are served and helped. All it means is you've got leads. So a priority is going to be A on your list. That is going to be dialing your leads. So Monday morning at 8 o'clock, what are you doing Monday morning, 8 o'clock each week? Monday morning, 8 o'clock is not the time to be going to the gym or doing the laundry or the dishes, cleaning the kitchen, taking the dog for a walk. See, those are low items. Are some of them important? No doubt. But what's more important? It's going to be doing your dials, 8 o'clock Monday morning, being disciplined, making that a priority on your list. Well, let me share with you a quote from Brian Tracy's book. His book is entitled Eat That Frog, 21 Ways to Stop Procrastinating and Get More Done in Less Time. And he compares your most important activity to eating a frog. Let's see where this illustration goes. It actually comes from Mark Twain, a quote from Mark Twain. He said, eat a live frog first thing in the morning, and nothing worse will happen to you the rest of the day. See his point? In other words, you should tackle the hardest and most important thing in your to-do list first. And for Brian Tracy, with his ABCDE method, that frog is not just an activity that people tend to avoid. It's the activity that is going to have the greatest impact, positive impact in your life. Now, you might find that more than one task falls into the A category. So then what you need to do is sub-rank those tasks in the A category. A1, A2, A3, and so on. And that'll help you then get through all the items in your A list. You consider your A1 task the most important, followed by number 2, number 3. Let's talk about then B tasks. These are tasks that have consequences, but they're not as serious. They're more minor consequences. These are things that are important but not critical. I'll give you an example. Following up pending requirements is important, but what's more important? Dialing. You see, by dialing, setting appointments, running appointments, then we sell policies and we have pending requirements that need to be taken care of, and we'll have business that is being written, being cared for. You see, the higher priority is going to be making your dials, making sure that comes first. Something that is important but not as important might be pursuing pending requirements. I was talking to one of our agents some time ago, and she was saying that she sets aside an hour every week, like on Thursday afternoon, to take care of pending requirements. See, so she set aside time for that. It's on Thursday afternoon. It's not Monday at 8 a.m. It's important, but not more important than doing our dials. A C task would be tasks that have no consequences. It's an activity that's nice to do, but whether you do it or not, there's not really going to be any consequences at all. For example, I'm working on writing a book to help new agents, and it's important to me, but it is not more important than my dials. It's not more important to me than pending requirements. It's really a goal that I have with no consequences. When it gets done, it's done, but it doesn't have to be done today. It'll be done as I can make time for it, when the other things that are more important are done first. And so that might be, a way to think about some of these items in your to-do list that are important, but they don't have any any real consequences. Those would be your C tasks on your list of priorities. Now, a D task is something that you probably should delegate. So as my agency has grown, I don't do my pending requirements anymore. I stopped doing them actually a long time ago when I realized that they were interfering with my ability to grow my business. And so I delegated them to someone in my office who I have confidence in, who I know is going to follow through and get things done. And she takes care of for me those pending requirements and then consults with me when she needs to, if she's got questions. So D tasks are tasks that can be delegated to other people. You should delegate to someone everything you possibly can. So it frees up time that you can spend in engaging in the A activities. And this is important because ultimately the A tasks and their completion will have the greatest impact on your career. You may think that delegating tasks is being lazy, trying to get rid of tasks is lazy. Think again. Your thinking is a little askew, and I've come to learn that myself. I really appreciate how Stephen has helped me to see that over the past year or so as we've been working together on making myself more productive. E tasks are tasks that can be eliminated, or maybe they need to be done, but not during work hours. I'll give you an example. I need to clean the kitchen and do the dishes. I need to vacuum the house, cut the grass, but those things do not need to be done during the day when most people are available for me to offer my services to them. Cutting the grass is important, but it does not happen on Monday at 8 a.m. You see, it maybe it's done on Sunday morning or Sunday after church or an evening when it's cooler. It is not done Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning. So we have tasks like that we have to recognize are just tasks that need to be eliminated from our daily schedule, and they're done at other times if they're done at all. They may not fit into the criteria for A, B, C, and D. And that would mean they're irrelevant. If we can't justify cutting the grass over making our dials, then we shouldn't be cutting the grass, at least at that time. So eliminating tasks is necessary. Eliminating irrelevant tasks is necessary if we're going to get our timing under control. If something is no longer necessary for us to do, then we should stop doing it. So how can we implement then this method? Well, I gave you a little tip earlier. We can write down all the items that we want to get done and then assign A, B, C, D, or E next to them, or in some cases, A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, and so on. But so that's very helpful. It's an important tip. It's good for us also to decide on the specific time frame that we need to get things done. Does it need to be done today? Do I have to have it done by Wednesday? Do I have to have it done by Monday next week? Is this a monthly task that I have to do once a month? So decide on a specific time frame. And then commit yourself to jumping right into the list, working on A1. Start there. Do not start on the lower important tasks. Start on the ones that are the most important. Discipline yourself to stay on that task until it is done, until it's complete. It could be that A1 task or A2 or A3 task is the most important thing you'll get done that day or that week, and you'll be so relieved that you got it done. Avoid distractions. Now, this was something that helped me because as I was working on my tasks that were important to me, Cindy, for example, or one of my employees may have their own list of tasks that need to be done and their own list of priorities. But sometimes I have to accept the fact that their priorities cannot be my priorities because we have different time frames to work within and different responsibilities. Frankly, if I don't do my dials, nobody gets paid. So my tasks have got to come first in many respects, don't they? It's not a matter of being selfish, it's just a matter of being reasonable. But something I may have on my to-do list is making sure I set aside time to the others who need my time in order to accomplish their work that I've given them to do. So avoid distractions. When you've set aside Monday at 8 a.m. to do your dials, don't let anything distract you. And then don't work on anything that isn't on the list. If something else comes along that needs to be done, look at where it needs to go on the list. If it's not an A1, maybe it's a B, C, D, or an E task, one that needs to be eliminated. That's key. If it's not important, folks, you're going to get caught up in what you can call low value activities, and it can cause you to lose control of your time, and then very little, if anything, gets done. And what does get finished was not important, and now you're a day behind on the tasks that are more important. I'll give you a good tip. I would find sometimes when I first started in this work, if I allowed other things to interfere on Monday morning, it threw my entire week off, and it put more pressure on me to make what I needed to earn on Tuesday and Wednesday because I got a late start. I actually didn't really start on those A tasks until Tuesday or Wednesday, and now I've eliminated some good opportunities to build momentum for the week and to make a good living. That then added a lot of stress. Can you relate to that? I'm sure you can. So, folks, these are some really good tips to help you be proactive, to get things done, to take control back from your overall task list. It'll give you a happier work life, and that will spill over into other aspects of your life. Your home life will be happier because you'll go home at the end of the day less stressed because you've gotten things done. And you'll no longer be constantly reacting to the demands of other people. So I hope this helps you, folks. That book that Brian Tracy wrote was really helpful to me. I hope you found these tips helpful to you. Maybe they're things that you already knew, but you just needed some reminders. Set some goals this week. Write up your A, B, C, D, E list, and I hope it works for you as well as it has for me. I'm going to sign off, everyone. Have yourselves a good week, and we look forward to seeing you all here again at next week's Monday Message.